Okay, this video is going to cover two things. The first thing is how we're going to automate when you have a cancellation or a no-show to send them a rebooking link via an email automatically for the sales rep so that they don't have to do it. And then number two, we're going to talk about why we should do this, how we could customize it for your business, and why you should pay attention to it because it ends up spending a lot of time and money if it goes unchecked for too long within your company. So you start bleeding money in these little areas like this that you do not automate. So the first things first, let's try and review this diagram. I'll tell you why and how you can do this. Second half, we'll go through how you can customize it for your business. Okay, so in this situation, we have some type of meeting that has been booked. You have a Zoom link or you have a Google Meet or literally just a phone call sometimes. There's something that has created a meeting. You likely, and if you don't have this, you should, you likely have an activity inside of Salesforce that's created as well that's going to say, hey, I have a call today, or I have a Google Meet today, or a Zoom link today. And there's literally going to be a Salesforce opportunity and an activity that is linked to that opportunity that says, hey, you have a call today at this time. Within that activity, what we want to decide that happens is what was the outcome of that call? Did we have a no-show? Did we have a cancellation? Do we have neither one of those? Obviously, in a full case scenario, I'm just focusing this particular video on what happens when we no-show or cancel. You might have some other outcomes here that could happen, right? That you took the call, it went successful, great, something else happened. In this situation, we're just highlighting no-shows and cancellations. So our outcomes would only be really those two things in this situation. So if they no-showed us, what we want that sales rep to go and do is check a box on that activity that says that they no-showed. So you could literally have a box that says no-show, or you could have a drop down that says outcome, and then it has a option for no-show and cancellation. Either one of those will work. They just need a way to be able to manually update that activity to say that, hey, the call today was a no-show or as a cancellation or it went great or whatever the outcome was. You need to have something there in Salesforce to do that. So they're going to manually go and update that. And then what's going to happen from there is we're going to send out a specific email for each one of those situations. I would also craft at this point a specific template that has the right language and wording for what you want to use for either it being a no-show or being a cancellation. So if it's a no-show, we might want to say some stuff a little bit differently, like, hey, missed you today, was expecting you on X call, didn't see you there. Here's my link again to rebook with me. Let me know what works best. Maybe you want to do something like that. The second option would be maybe something around a cancellation. You're a little more polite, a little more friendly. You're not as maybe direct. And the language might be something along the lines of, hey, saw that today didn't work out the best for you. Happens. You know, I'm available X day. And maybe you just want to push them to 2 days out. You know, feel free to book a time 2 days out from now using my Calendly link below. So those are our first two real options that you should do, as consider the language, consider how you want to say things, and consider what you want to do here. Okay. The point of this is so that going into the why you want to set this up as a business is when you look at how much time and effort your sales team spends. So there's a few bad things that will happen. Number one is they're literally spending time to go and do this. When you look at it as a one-off, probably not that much time, right? Maybe 5 to 15 minutes to go and find the person in their email, send them a quick email that says something like this, and then your Calendly to say, hey, please rebook with me, right? So not incredible amount of time. What happens though is as this stacks up over the days, the weeks, the months, and then the year, you start to realize, man, I'm spending X amount of dollars on this sales rep every hour to do their job. And then when I look at it over the course of a month, a week, a year, this thing is added up to multiple hours of time by them just going in and manually sending out emails for people to rebook when I could automate that, right? So how much money is being wasted and how much effort is being wasted by that sales rep to do that. And I'm going to show you a little calculator here so you can get your mind around that. I have this little manual calculator that I like to show to get this point across, right? So you're probably not spending 150K on your sales reps. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, depending on how big your business is. But I would say like your average, SDR to AE as a base salary, we're just going to go nice and fair here in the US, which is around 80,000 is what I tend to see. So if you have $80,000 a year that you're spending on that person, they work in the US 50 weeks out of the 52, so 2 weeks of vacation, and then at least 40 hours a week, right? Sometimes a little bit more. that will break this down to $40 an hour. This does not include what you're spending on insurance and PTO and benefits and all the other things that you pay in. This is quite literally just their base salary. Doesn't even include commission here. So at bare minimum, you're spending $40 an hour, probably more, right? Now over here on our left, this is where we can really identify how much time is being wasted so that we can figure that out in a year's time. So if this is taking them, like we said, 0.25 is 15 minutes. If this takes them 15 minutes a day, that's pretty small. Let's just say they have one person that cancels on them a day. Then you have one sales rep doing this. That's really not that much time, right? $10 a day, 3% of their time. It's crazy though, because you start to see this creep up. That's still $3,500 a year, right? $3,500 a year, maybe not too big of a deal depending on your business and where you guys are at. It still is $3,500 a year though, right? So you're still losing over $3,000 by not fixing this problem. And that's only 15 minutes and that's only one sales rep. So depending on your business, you probably have more than one sales rep and it's probably more than 15 minutes a day. Let's say this happens 4 times a day, right? Or 3 times a day or 2 times a day. If we want to just kind of slightly increase this, if we go to 30 minutes a day, that's 0.5. Okay, now we're up to, $20 a day instead of 10. That's $7,000 a year. It's 6% of the time, so it doubles it. Well, this gets crazier if it's 30 minutes a day per rep. Let's say you have 4 reps. Okay, well now we're up to $28,000 a year. So you can see how this easily gets away from us, right? It's one of those things where it feels so small that it's not even worth paying attention to, but this is really where the company is losing all of their money and effort, right? It comes from these small little things that are happening that we're just not automating and taking care of. And then before you know it, you're bleeding all this cash that you could have had at the end of the year, another $28,000, right? That you could have been using for some kind of admin hire to come in and do this, or another Salesforce person on the team to be able to get hired on and bring this in, right? Not saying $28,000 would hire you somebody, but it could go towards that is what I'm saying, right? A bigger budget for a team, more expense for a team, something like that would actually move the needle versus just quite literally you're wasting it. So this gives you a good idea to see how much money is being wasted there. Okay, and then lastly, what I would say here is how you could customize this for your business. I think you get the point that this wastes time and money. It's also frustrating for the sales reps for having this go unchecked. They hate doing all the admin stuff. Having worked at many companies with a big sales team, this is usually a common complaint that I see a lot of the time. People get annoyed by it. Unfortunately, you'll even see churn internally with your business because people hate dealing with this so much that they'll just go find another job. So you lose talent even doing this. The only other thing I would maybe consider here is there's kind of like this game of power that you'll also play, right? So depending on the size of your business and how you want this to show up, maybe if somebody no-shows you right off the bat, you may not want to send that email right away to look super desperate or to make it look like it was that big of a deal, depending on how you want this to look psychologically. So another step you could add in here is somewhat of a delay. So we could add another step before this gets sent out to delay it for X amount of time. So right after they update this, maybe you delay it for a day, you delay it for 2 days. You could even bring that down to hours. Maybe we delay it for a couple hours after the call took place. However you want to do that, but sometimes that adds a nice effect in there to make it look and feel like it's not so desperate. Like, hey, literally you were supposed to just be on this call and now I'm sending you this email to rebook. And I know that you weren't there, right? Sometimes it comes off and gives the wrong message towards people. So sometimes you want somewhat of a delay to make it seem a little more nonchalant. So something else that I might consider is adding something right after this for a time delay. Other than that, this is something that I would implement for a small or large business, just so that you can start getting that framework set up. If you're smaller, this is nice to have as you guys scale out, that it's already taken care of. And if you're already larger, this obviously saves you a bunch of time and money right off the bat by just implementing this little thing. So if this seems interesting to you, click the link in the description below. I added one for our sales reps that it will send you to. We'll see if we're a good fit for you guys to come in and implement a system like this. And if we are, love to set it up and show you the outcomes that you'll see for your business. Thanks.